What is going on, guys? We are back with another video today, and we are doing another rebuild on Madden 22, and today it is of the Seattle Seahawks, probably our toughest remaining team based on the overalls, the age, the devs of the players that the Seahawks currently have. Of course, they have some playmakers, specifically at wide receiver. I know there was a lot of talks about Metcalf being traded, and there's a lot of contract talks with him being easily in the 20 mil per year range. But with Seattle not really having that face at the moment after trading Russell Wilson, I mean, Metcalf has probably got to be that guy. Tyler Lockett, of course, has been very underrated for years now and continues to be a very complimentary piece now to Metcalf, even though technically Tyler Lockett's the more consistent guy, if you will. Metcalf sort of had a down year last year. Chris Carson, a running back that's decent when healthy. The problem is he's literally never healthy. Kenneth Walker is probably gearing up to be the long-term starter. Don't absolutely hate the pick from them there with Kenneth, but I mean, the fact that they didn't land a single quarterback is a little troubling considering all of the guys that there was thoughts maybe could have went late first, ended up going into the third round. I mean, just take a shot on one of them, dude. You might as well. Of course, they did end up with Charles Cross, who probably could be a higher overall, probably could be a higher dev even, but still a really good player. And ironically enough, they finally had some offensive line help after trading Russell Wilson. Of course, Noah Fant, a part of that trade, speaking of, with Russell Wilson, a solid player in the game. Decent in real life, kind of breaking out, kind of not. I mean, I don't know. The players that they got in the trade, it's a little questionable, specifically Shelby Harris. I mean, he's not a bad player. It's just, he's like 31 in real life, maybe going on 32. Their defensive line needs work hardcore. The edge needs work hardcore. Their edge has been so bad for I know Carlos Dunlap did help that team quite a bit on the edge, but he's gone now, and it's been really bad for a half decade, slightly more almost. But of course, they go with Mafe, the edge rusher who I think was comped to Rashawn Gary. I do see the versatility and obviously the athleticism with that size. Jamal Adams, a guy that kind of plays all around. I mean, maybe not worth the trade in real life, but in game, he should be pretty good for us at least. Of course, the first-round picks involved in that trade are now passed, thankfully. Of course, the Jets absolutely won that trade, and it's just not even a question about it, in my opinion. Of course, Tariq Woolen, a later-round pick than people would have thought, just because of that high upside. 71 overall is probably a little high for him, but if you actually look at the way he looks here, he's not very good. It's just very hard to keep an overall low. 69-man, you can say is somewhat high for him, but he's obviously still a massive project player, especially since he is 23 years old. You also have Kobe Bryant, who is a little bit on the slower side, so, I mean, I don't know if he's going to play much for us, but yeah, sure, I guess. But Sidney Jones probably could be star. He actually had a decent season last year, ironically enough. He now doesn't have star. He's had star in Madden for years now, and almost has one of his best years probably as a pro, and he goes to normal. Obviously, that was a dev from the beginning of the season. Quandre Diggs, very solid player. Obviously, you would have loved to see them keep Reed, but they couldn't, even though it didn't seem like it was that crazy of a price. Jordan Brooks, we're hoping is good for us here, but in real life, I think he's he's okay. He's definitely okay. They obviously just lost Bobby Wagner, and that kind of sucks for them, but I think it was a smart move for them to move on from Wagner, and considering they're in a bit of a rebuild, and it's going to take some years to get out of, I don't even think the Russell Wilson trade was that bad. I still think Russell Wilson is good, but I suppose with the way he was playing with the team, it's not like the worst thing that could have happened. I think it was kind of a win-win both sides. Can't really hate the trade after all. But yeah, I'm hoping this doesn't just become like a Stroud, Bryce Young, whatever one is, whatever guy's there, rebuild. But Seattle is one of those teams that is absolutely in the running for a quarterback next season. And maybe, honestly, they're secretively tanking, if you will. I mean, Drew Lock is still young. Maybe there's potential there, but I just don't see it. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely a team that would absolutely be in the running for that. Boye Mafe, I guess tackling, my guess. You could also argue that Mafe maybe should have been normal, but I don't know. I think he's a good player, so I think it's fair to make him star. It's really just opinion-based at this point, so, I mean, what can you really do? You can come back to the video later if you want, and, you know, when the game comes out, it's like, you idiot, he was normal, dummy. It's like, okay, well, it means you subscribed. I appreciate it, because you came back, I'd imagine, and, you know, thanks. I appreciate when people like and subscribe. Wink, wink, wink. Yeah, of course, probably not an upload tomorrow, but, you know, on Tuesday will be another upload, so there's that. 7 wins, what did I do? Why did I do that? That's just not going to happen. We lost 31-10, but Mafe continues his camp breakout, or standout, whatever the hell, I think it's standout, and he gets 10k XP with a chance to go to Superstar, which I will say is not super, you know, consistent. It's not something that just happens all the time. It actually is... It's pretty rare. You get it like maybe 1 out of every 20 or so, if that. And as far as going all the way to get the dev, it's got to be like 1 in 50. I mean, it just never happens for us. But maybe Mafe is that guy. Come on, dude. Did he? Ah, he didn't, but still, we'll take the 10K. He's also wearing number 54. Is that a thing in real life? Also, Sidney Jones, you're talking about, you know, not being star development trait. Kind of a win because he gets 20k to go back to star. He's wearing number 53. But have you paid attention to the linebacker who's wearing number 10 in Uchenna Nwosu? Yeah, I have, because he's wearing number 10, like I just said. It's because he's wearing number 10 at linebacker. Sidney Jones is one of the guys we need to re-sign, of course, after that dev up. I mean, I think it's just... I mean, we're desperate for talent. We have a little bit of money to spend. I mean, there's just no point not to re-sign him. Justin Coleman, a guy that once upon a time got paid some money. Do I want to keep him? I mean, we have a lot of guys that are kind of just looking to start, so I'm not really sure if it makes sense to keep him when we have a lot of guys that aren't starting, and it's a position that's kind of weak for us, so the fact that we have guys that aren't starting really proves how sort of deep we are, maybe not in strength, but deep in just average. Of course, Rashad Penny, I don't know how well he's playing. I don't even know if he's playing at all. We could use a backup. I know the Seattle loves to have 2 solid running backs that they can interchange. Once again, another injury-prone guy that can show potential, but potential doesn't mean a damn thing if you're never out there. Headed to the playoffs? Probably not going to be headed to the playoffs. Of course, we lose the game 6-11. Division was actually pretty weak. 8-9 Rams, 8-9 Cardinals, 10-7 Niners, and I'll be honest with you, I think the Niners won like 3 in a row. It seemed like that at least. Looking at the numbers, I do not see anything that looks good for us, I'll be honest with you. But let's take a look. Anyways, Drew Lock with 4,400 yards, 28 touchdowns, 21 picks. Wow. Chris Carson with 4.8 yards per carry, 15 touchdowns, 1131 for yards. Kenneth Walker with 217 yards, 3.5 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns. Now, the thing that's kind of tough about this, I probably should have turned injuries on because, yes, once again, Chris Carson's a solid running back when healthy, but it's really trending in real life that he won't ever really be healthy. But I guess we have to keep him around if we can. Tyler Lockett, of course, solid year. Metcalf, not so bad. Fant, best year of his career so far. And then Melton, you know, Eskridge kind of just seems like he's the odd man out, even though he was just drafted pretty damn high not even a year ago. Linemen, the rookie tackles, not great. Not great at all. Looking at the sack totals, Nwosu, 11.5. Mafe with 7.5. Not terrible, I suppose. Tackles for a loss. You know, the 2 edge guys really just carrying hard. Interception. Sidney Jones, man, he could go to Superstar, which would be huge, because I didn't really expect him to be that kind of player for us. So if he came out of the woodwork and just became a Superstar, God-tier player, that'd be great. It's kind of, speaking of the same, Saquon Barkley, MVP. I don't know if I've even, like, ever seen that. You know, like, it's just, like, you just don't see them dominate, really, or him dominate often. And you're not going to see us dominate either, as we don't have a single award. The Jags and the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, that's a bit of an interesting one. With the Jaguars winning it all. Okay. I mean, a new team, I guess. But let's look at the dev-ups. Tyler Lockett, really not a surprise there, which is just so huge, though, as he's 29 years old. Even then, he's still... 3? What? That might be the unluckiest drop in overall I've ever seen in my life. Like, I kid you not, that may be the worst regression I've ever seen. He's 29 and he dropped 3 speed, dude. 3 speed. Deshaun Jackson is still right now faster than like half the league, and he's like way older than 29. I'm sorry. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make him 92 speed. I mean, that's just broken. What is that? What is that? Like, what? 3 speed he lost. At 29. I don't even know. It's Sidney Jones, superstar development. I was just thinking about the other thing. Mafe goes up in dev, but in Wosu doesn't. Huh? Interesting. Secure tackler with, I mean, nothing yet, but maybe something pass rush. We'll see if that's, a thing. Of course, no other dev ups, but I suppose Sidney Jones and Mafe is really solid. And then Lockett, I would say is big, but we've seen that he dropped 3 speed. I don't know how, but yeah, I mean, speed doesn't really matter too much for Sim, to be honest, I don't think, but yeah, I mean, really? I'm sorry, I had to fix it. I'm sorry, that's just bustedly bad. And we are going to be letting some of these guys go that you've seen in the renegotiations or negotiation period. I just don't think any of those guys are long-term options. Now, I will say it's hard to get long-term options outside of the draft without spending money, but we're going to try our best. Orlando Brown being a free agency player is not the craziest thing I would have thought. A lot of reports recently that he wants to be the highest paid tackle, which just is not in his market. Like, it's just not, as simply put. Like, 20 per over 3 even is probably, I wouldn't say an overpayment, but that would be a great ask for him, and he wants more than that. Like, that's just, like, I would not do it, and I can see why he went to free agency, to be honest. But, of course, it seems like Shelby Harris retired on us, which is super great, or we just didn't resign him. I can't remember which one, because I'm not really caring too much, to be honest. I don't really care too much that happened. Derek Nottie, another player from the Chiefs that, once again, he's not the greatest player in the world, but he would be a massive improvement for us. And, of course, this team is kind of a different scheme now, proper 3-4, so could use him as our quote-unquote nose, even though he's maybe a little undersized, but a good block shedder, I suppose. Joe Schober could provide some, decent support for a couple of years, but as far as, like, wanting him to be a long-term guy, that's just not something I want. But yeah, I mean, free agency is about as weak as you would have asked or expected, and we'll sign a couple of guys, probably offer a couple of guys, at least try to sign them, but I can't imagine we're going to get much starting talent out here. We do get Derek Nottie, and did we offer anyone else? I thought we did. Might have just, oh yeah, we offered a couple of guys that, some lowball deals, which I'll admit, I wouldn't expect to sign, but hey, they are what they are. We might be desperate, but we're not that desperate. We're not so desperate that we're willing to spend crazy money on, backup level talent or barely starting level talent. All right, so we are officially in the draft, and the Houston Texans hold the first overall pick in our Texans rebuild. Not to spoil it, we passed up on the opportunity of going quarterback by trading down to number 3. So at least there's a little bit of consistency here as well, where the Texans are pick 1 overall again. But I don't know if they're going to pass on number 1 overall a quarterback as like we did. What are these contracts? They're paying $30 million quarterbacks, and none of them are good. Like, none of them. Just use Davis Mills, but I think this is where they're probably going to be taking a quarterback. Possibly Bryce Young, we'll see. And it is, of course, that doesn't change too much for us as we see Bryce Young and Stroud as QB1A and QB1B. So CJ Stroud is going to be the choice here at number 2 overall. So yes, the Seahawks spend a whole year of just utter sadness, but now they are all back and happy as they have themselves probably their franchise quarterback once again. And now the Giants, a team that has kind of addressed the pass rush position, might not need to actually go there. Could you imagine if we also got Will Anderson? You could imagine that, but your imagination would run dry because the Giants said, you know what, we can't pass on that man. And honestly, depending on how the draft positioning goes, that probably will be what happens in real life as well. As far as what we need, we could use pretty much any position. I really do like Breesy as that choice, though. We have all the cornerbacks, well, not all of them, but a lot of them scouted as well. You can see Eli Ricks wouldn't be a bad choice, maybe trade up for from the second round. We obviously like some of the corners we have, as Sidney Jones seems to be the guy long-term. Don't really think we need to take Malachi Moore or Ringo this high. As far as other positions go, what did we have? We have a couple of quarterbacks, obviously. Tim Smith. You could trade down, but at the same time, you could just take Breesy and just call it a day. I mean, as far as what we have here, we do have cornerback options, but I feel like there's no one quite like this guy up here. And I think it just makes too much sense not to grab him. We are finally kind of, I wouldn't say going all in because we're still a rebuild team, but we're finally taking what we need rather than worried about down the line as the Falcons go with another tight end. That team loves their big athletic freaks, I guess. I don't know what else to tell you. A bunch of wide receivers going in a row here. The Ravens probably wanted to go wide receiver, but all those wide receivers went right before them, unfortunately. And yeah, we're probably going to be moving, like I said, down a bit here until we see a good jump-up point for corner. The Lions take one. We've seen Ringo go a little bit before that. Redmond is a defensive lineman. We could still use more. Tim Smith could still be on our list. He's a little bit more of a block shedder. Ooh, I didn't think about Paris Jones. I could use a tackle. I would assume the Bengals would also need a tackle. Well, actually, the Bengals have kind of shored up their offensive line a bit. Maybe they'd be willing. You know, it seems like they only need a guard or a center. You can see tackle looks really good here for them. Guard isn't even that bad. I think center is their bigger need. So I think they'd be willing to trade with us if the price is right. Let's see if we can get that. It's a little bit in our favor, but we obviously know that in real life that, trades come and they go. It's really about what the team that is trading that pick is looking for. As we are still giving them, I mean, they maybe could have had an extra sixth or so in value, but it's still a good trade nonetheless. But let's see who's actually here because we might go with want rather than need based on just, seeing what we see. Obviously, safety wouldn't be the worst thing to go for as Diggs is getting older, but I think that's probably not a position I'm going to be looking at. Eli Ricks is way up there for me, and so is Paris Johnson. I think Paris Johnson is the more immediate need. I said it. We're going to go Paris Johnson, long story short. Hidden development trait and probably our new right tackle. Oh, come on, please. I might have to risk it. The Vikings did add a few corners in free agency, but they are kind of like older names. They didn't take one. The Eagles probably could use a corner. We know the Panthers love corner, and I would not let the Patriots get there as they're absolutely going to take Ricks. Let's see if they'll take this trade. They do take the trade. Pick 36, 100, and 104 this year for pick 26, which of course does give them a slight bit of extra value and also makes it where we don't have another pick to the 5th round. But once again, we appear to be taking a starting caliber talent that can immediately impact the team. Eli Ricks, welcome to the squad. A hidden development trait as well. So 3 hidden development traits who all could be superstar or better. I don't know what Ricks' development is. I think we've scouted him a few times, and we never pulled the trigger. Dax Hollifield, even though it probably is Holyfield, wouldn't be a bad decision. Ryan Walk would be great. Everyone else is just out of our reach at this point. And Brew McCoy, giving me kind of like mini Metcalf vibes. Wouldn't be the worst thing to go for, but I think we're going to go to the 3rd round minimum, obviously, because we're not going to do much better than that. I don't want to give up a 2nd round pick next year, as I still think we're going to be a pretty bad team, but we can maybe argue if we have, I think we have 2 5ths, maybe a 3rd next year for like a mid-3rd plus our like 5th this year or something like that. Tony Grimes, the guy they mentioned. I mean, we need a lot. But we kind of screwed ourselves a little bit with those trade-ups. But once again, we landed such talented players. We're apparently broke as well. I mean, that is misleading. 15 mil, sometimes it doesn't show up proper. But this is what the team looks like. The rookie class looks like. We went with 4 first-round players. Now, if you had picks 2 and 4, that's not the craziest thing in the world to have 4 first-round players. But the way we did it is, as we kind of traded up our high 2nd rounds to get there. Of course, 3rd round pick was our kind of last high pick, as we didn't have another pick for the 6th or 7th. And we costed our 4th and 5th round picks next year, maybe even more. But we obviously landed some extreme talents. I'd imagine Stroud is superstar. Wow, that number needs to change. Breesy, I think, was superstar. He could be X Factor, though, because once again, he's a freak. Paris Johnson, probably star development trait. Going to be moving him to right tackle, though. I don't know if he's good at that in real life or not, but as far as what we need, he makes the most sense there, and he is star development trait. Ricks, also probably star. I think he's the new number 2, though, as Woolen really didn't develop that well anyways, and This guy obviously is already better out the gate. We'll take a look anyways. Also star development trait as expected, but that's still fine. And then I got to figure out what we actually need to do with Walker's. Don't know if we actually have a spot for him this season. We did get Matt Paradis as the center. Maybe Walk could play there if we didn't get him, as he is on the smaller side. Don't really know if I see that guy even as a guard, but more of a center regardless. So we at least have a center. Dang it, I was going to look at the roster, but we at least have a center going forward, if not a guard. So this is what the squad looks like for year 2. Of course, we've got a couple of blues, which is nice. Nice to see. Got the youngster, Paris Johnson, starting out the gate. Walk is going to be the center next season, I more than likely assume. Right guard will probably need to be replaced, but it's definitely an okay line. I think Russell Wilson would have thought that this is like, what it's like to play behind, Adrian Peterson's Vikings line, at least run block-wise, I suppose. Had some pretty sick lines in the day. But I guess the Tampa Bay line, as of recent, if you will. But DK Metcalf is the number 1, Lockett number 2. Nothing really changed in the receiving category. New quarterback, though, so the receiving numbers might change, though. As far as defense, we got that superstar corner, got the star dev corner with a ton of potential. We have 2 defensive linemen that are long-term kind of options, more than likely with Noddy and Breesy. We'll need to look for someone new at left end, though. New middle linebacker number 2, and then Nwosu wasn't terrible year 1, actually, so he was actually pretty good. May even be the long-term option, even though, once again, we're number 10. Can we work on Bo Melton? Please. Please. Just that's all I ask. So we're having a little bit of an iffy one to start the season out, but the rest of the division as well. So there, is as well. So there's still potential to go off. Of course, I worry a little bit about this contract as, once again, this is going to be a contract that costs a lot, and just to make it easier on me, I'm just going to do one of these. So I think 26 mil per is probably fair for him on a 5-year deal. I would like to do more than that. I'm going to do 6. It's just, let's be honest, he's that guy for us. Then you go to Chris Carson, who, once again, when healthy, is a solid player. But, maybe not. Maybe I don't re-sign him. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, but with a season like that, even though he's an 87 overall, I don't know if I can really say that he's worth that money, right? Let's see Noah Fant, who is also not playing super well. He's on par for more yards, but those touchdowns, not looking great. I think he's probably worth about like 8.5 per. So we did like a 5-year deal, a 6-year deal worth 50. I don't think he would really complain, right? If a 6-year deal worth 51, I don't know if that's 8.5. It's maybe 8 per, whatever. And Nwosu, if he's playing like last season, he'll get this contract, and he isn't. But I still like him. I don't know. He's young. It's not crazy money for a pass rusher in today's market. I think a 4-year 47 is pretty good. A good, like an average to above average pass rusher that's young is easily worth like 10 per. Like on the open market, it's just easy money, like without a doubt. Chris Carson, if I can do a 3-year on this, even for him to be the backup, a 3-year 21 would be perfectly fine. Little surprised that he declined that because, once again, we bumped that to 21, which is, makes that value even better than what he's asking for. Poona Ford, we could use him, once we lose Shelby Harris, but I also don't think pretty good, actually. We do need to save some money somewhere. I'm trying to think of the positions we need to draft. So middle linebacker would obviously be a help. Guard would be a help. We don't really have a whole lot to actually go for, so even though we have limited picks, I think we're going to actually let Poona Ford go. Unless he has like some crazy season for us, which I got to admit, doesn't even look like he's playing this season much for us. We may choke the season away. We did, but somehow at 8-9, we have a playoff spot. Now, you'll see in a moment the kind of season we finished with. Really, really bad finish. I mean, we lost 3 games in a row, giving up just about 30 in each game against tough opponents. Once again, this is a tough schedule. You're playing the Buccaneers, the Panthers, the Rams. I mean, what team on this list is really the guarantee? The Bears and Falcons, perhaps, which we lost to the Falcons anyway. I suppose the Jets, maybe the Cardinals once, but like, it is a tough schedule. Absolutely is a tough schedule, so you can't really blame it too much, but yeah, I mean, we somehow made the playoffs, which is really, really surprising, as we were holding the division for, a good 4 or 5 weeks there, and then just, it went downhill from there. But let's take a look at the season from CJ Stroud. Of course, we went with a little bit heavier of a run formation, even in his rookie year, just to take the pressures off him. It wasn't a bad year by any means. It definitely was a lot better than Drew Lock, at least. Looking at running backs, Kenneth Walker. He was the backup all season long, and then he was just out playing Chris Carson, as you can see here, and he ended up having a pretty decent season, despite the fact that, once again, he didn't play the starting role, technically. Obviously, a lot of touchdowns for both guys. Receiving, Metcalf was pretty solid. Lockett was okay. Fant, technically a career year, but touchdowns are a little low. Bo Melton, once again, he's kind of just like the number 3. He'll get involved a little bit, but he's not going to be like that guy for you. As far as sack totals go, Mafe with 13.5, 8.5 for Nwosu, Breesy with 5.5. And the one thing that is to note is, once again, those edge guys looking pretty good for the tackles for a loss. Picks, pretty tame stuff this season. Kicking, I think we're just doomed on. The rookie kicker was awful. Once again, he's a rookie, so maybe cut him a little slack. But that is really bad. There's no denying that. The MVP goes to Mahomes, where Barkley almost had a chance to repeat, which is kind of crazy. Rookie of the year goes to Grayson McCall, the Lions quarterback. Stroud loses it there. Ricks kind of by default gets defensive rookie of the year, it seems. As far as quarterbacks go, I mean, I really wouldn't have expected us to be up that high, but number 8, I guess. Not on the running back list, of course. Number 1 in wide receiver. It was not the greatest season I've ever seen, so, I mean, impressive. At least we got it, but I'm a little surprised by it. Linebackers, number 1 with both of them. Okay, both of these not bad, actually. Rick's at number 7, and then kicker. I mean, I don't even know why I'm looking past anything. Like, could have just completely ignored that one, unless you just want to know who it is, because we definitely were going to have 0 chance. But speaking of 0 chance, the chances of winning this game against the Cowboys, pretty much the same as that. But 8-9 playoffs, I would love to at least win one game. Once again, it is Dallas. I don't expect it, but yeah, it could be a little bit of an upset as we're playing all right. Huge touchdown by Dallas before half, though. Another huge touchdown to start the second half. Now down by a high at 21 points, 24 points, 31 points. We get all the way down. We got a nice little touchdown at the end, but yeah, we got absolutely rolled in that game. But we did also stop them a bit, so it really wasn't the defense's, really wasn't the cornerback's fault. Of course, Kenneth Walker, not bad. It's an okay game considering I just didn't have that much of a volume, so can't really tell, if you got lucky or not. Sack totals, once again, Mafe has just been really good for us so far. Picks, nothing to show for. Kicking, at least we didn't miss any kicks, I guess, even though it felt like we did as we seemingly drove down the field multiple times and didn't score. Of course, Cincinnati versus the Cowboys. I mean, I suppose the Cowboys win, which they do. We were kind of just the unlucky ones to be first in their path, as I guess it's not unlucky since we're not ready anyways, but it's still kind of unlucky, right? Because like if we would have avoided them out the gate, who knows? We maybe would have gotten all the way to the championship round, as they were destined to win, if you will. But yeah, it kind of doesn't matter, as you lose regardless of when. Of course, DevOps, any on the offensive side? None. Not really super surprised though, to be fair. Defensively, see any DevOps? Boye Mafe, definitely. I keep saying Bofa. But he obviously goes to X Factor. Really good season once again. Well, I wouldn't say once again. Year 1 wasn't great, but he still went up in Dev, and then this year was very good. And Nwosu kind of being snubbed a little bit, at least for his first year, but he's still a really good player, obviously, despite wearing number 10. And then no one else with DevOps, which obviously surprises no one. Would have loved to see Quandre Diggs get one, though, because once again, he's a really good player, and he is on contract, I believe, for at least another season. Would have loved to keep him long-term, but unfortunately, the reality of it is we're probably going to have to look for a new safety, which, speaking of, I think Marquise Blair deserves a 2-year contract. Keep him on. Get him as that backup. Help! Jesus. I mean, I know I was feeling that I needed some water, but wow. That is that. Croissant. God damn, that was a big one. I got some water, and now I'm feeling a lot better. Imagine. But let's actually take a look at what the team looks like before free agency, before the draft. We have 30 mil. We may have some players that are kind of expensive, like Gabe, with a team as desperate as we are for a line, might be expensive. Actually not, surprisingly. Running backs, once again, Walker's going to be the starter. Wide receiver, don't need anyone just yet. not just yet. Could still look for a guard as Gabe Jackson. You can save a little bit money, and he's really not great. Middle linebacker number 2, we definitely need a new guy. I mean, just in general, just to start. Shelby Harris is still here, and how much is he? I'm just going to take this out and just assume that we're just not going to keep him. That's just, I don't know. It seems like the Broncos, like the Seahawks went down the list. I've said it before. I think I made the joke once before. But they went down the list, and they're like, the Seahawks are like, can we have him? And then Broncos just kept saying, nope, 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 nope. Until they got down to like the last 10 players and like, come on, you don't need Shelby Harris. Then like, fine. But yeah, obviously we need a new left end, need a new middle linebacker number 2. Quandre Diggs he's definitely regressing. He's holding up about as well as I would expect, though. So I'm not really too mad with the way he's regressing considering, but yeah, I mean, the team's actually not looking terrible outside of that, though. We are missing some depth. And Jordan Brooks, I'll show you guys the XP sliders. I don't know what most people do for rebuilds, but this is kind of what I do usually. Yeah, Jordan Brooks, not terrible. Center I have at 128, just I feel like there's so many good centers in the draft that you kind of have to drop it a little bit. Strong safety should probably be about 131, but yeah, I mean, a little surprised by the middle linebacker, Jordan Brooks. I mean, it's kind of dumb to release, drop it now since he's already upgraded, but why is he actually going so off? He must have a lot of tackles or something, right? I kind of just don't pay attention to it because he's kind of really the only guy that needs tackles to dev, right? It's pretty much everyone else has different things, but this will be a costly contract. This has got to be at least a 5-year 75 minimum, I would say, which, I mean, it's not terrible money. Yeah, he does have a lot of tackles, in fairness, so, I mean, I guess I understand EA's reasoning. There's not really a whole lot you can do without advanced statistics, so if you're going to dev up linebackers or you're going to upgrade them, I suppose tackles would be the way I would do that as well. Of course, it seems like we have about 40 mil to work with after that releasing. Terry McLaurin, just not a guy that's going to go to free agency. Lamar Jackson, unlikely. Rashawn Gary, probably not, but even if he was, we don't need him. Jeffrey Simmons, the Steelers, probably going to offer too much for our blood. Yannick, not terrible. Brady doesn't retire. He sticks around. Stephon Tuitt, I don't like the age, but I do like the fit. I love the fit here. I think we have to pay for him. And I think a 2-year 30 would be just right up our alley. I don't like the fact that he's 30 and only star, but he could be massive for us. And also he's trying to go to the Eagles, or the Eagles are trying to get him to go there, and we would take him away from a pretty direct competitor, right? Drake Greenlaw. I mean, I think we can do better. I just don't think I want to pay a linebacker. Going to be a pretty quick re-signing here, or free agent sign-ins. See if we get any of the names we were offering. I think there were like 2 or 3 guys we offered. Anthony Johnson was a 2-year, $5.5 million deal. I know he's 31, but gives us some depth, gives us some veteran knowledge as well, and he is superstar development trade. Stephon Tuitt was a 2-year, $32. We actually bumped it a little bit, which even then isn't actually that costly and is, once again, just so massive for this team. I mean, this defense, while some of the positions may be a little bit lower in overall, I know we're going right back into it, we've seen it a couple of times, it is kind of complete, right? Like, you could use a new middle linebacker too, just to have development, but as far as starters go, this is a pretty decent-looking squad. Eli Ricks obviously developed pretty quickly. We've got to go for zone. Whenever I actually have a chance to upgrade manually, I will obviously go with the thing that the AI never upgrades, which is, zone for these guys, short route for wide receivers. I will say, though, in a Madden sense, upgrading man only is pretty cheese, so leave it to EA to cheese their own game, I guess. So we're in the draft, pick 19. As far as what I remember, all of our guys are kind of like second-round picks, so we can actually trade down for once, which is nice. There's actually some solid-looking players athletically. I'm trying to get as much value as I can. I want some second-round picks, high second-round picks if I can get them. But it kind of seems like everyone's just wanting to not do that. We'll take Cleveland's pick. Moving back 4 spots to gain a third round, even though it's late, is pretty fair value at 19. So another trade with the Broncos. Pick 23 and a 7th round next year for 65 and 36 this year. Which, of course, when I say another trade with the Broncos, I mean, the whole Russell thing. And they're going to be taking a cornerback with that pick, Harvey Jackson. I was about to say, have a really fast cornerback that looks decent, and there he goes to Washington. Thankfully, It's not technically a need for us. I'm not too worried about it, but still, it would have been nice to obviously land that spot. But as far as what we want to do, Higgins is not a bad-looking player, but the problem is that bench press. Do you ignore the bench press to just take him because of that power move? That power move must be good if he's going to be a 1 to 2 round, round talent when you have the 2 to 3 grade for projection. But you also have Conrad, who's stronger, and he's out there later. Could probably go like early day 4. Maybe you look for a lineman. I mean, I only had a chance to scout one of the 2 tackles. Floyd Callaway is not a bad choice either. C-zone, but very athletic and big, would be the replacement for Diggs next season, more than likely. I think I'm going to take that chance on him. And he is hidden, which is a nice little pick. Really good jumping. Change of direction sucks, but he's a big safety, so I don't really care too much about that. Going to move to pick 19. Seen a bunch of linemen there. I imagine one of them will be there. Wilburn may have actually been the guy that I was looking at. No, I actually think his name was like Redman or something, right? Redman? Are any of them there? Oh, they're just way down here. Okay, fair enough. I don't know. I'm not really sure who to go for. 2 to 3 grade. Got a couple of B's and an A in there. He looks decent. His finesse blocking looks good. His power blocking looks all right. I want to see if he's able to play guard, though. 6'5", 316 is not terrible. Not the most athletic, but might still be worth the pick. Luke Walker, maybe not quite sky, but he's a little bit too undersized for my liking, but he is one of those guaranteeds, dude. I don't know. Actually, you know what? We're going to take Ben Cousins. This guy is an athletic specimen. I see some B's. I think he's good enough. Hidden development trade. Once again, you look at the 40 time and all that. Should be even faster, but yeah, out of left field, if you will, going with that pick. And I think we can move down a little bit until we see, wow, Higgins is still there. But until we see one remaining lineman, I'd be willing to take Walker, Redman, and maybe Johnson and actually take a look at him. I mean, he looks really good, even though he's a 2 to 3 rounder, right? Yeah, I mean, we got 3 linemen here. We're going to trade up once there's down to 1. We're at a 6th round pick to move up 4 spots back into the 2nd round, which will be taking the center as both of the tackles are gone. But, of course, we are playing this guy at guard anyways, so it's not the worst thing in the world. I imagine that's what we're going to do, right? I mean, we also do have Luke Barnett. I didn't check him out because, of course, he is even more undersized, 21 years old. Is more athletic, though, but I think Walker's a bit bigger, can definitely play guard. So, Luke Walker, please be good. And, of course, he's normal development trait. I mean, please tell me those 2 tackles weren't hidden. They probably will be, let's be honest. But, man, please tell me they're not hidden. Pick 19 in the 3rd round. We're going to be looking at those day 3 guys. There's a couple of them that look decent. We also have pick 23 still, so might be able to grab 2 players. Denario June. He is a fast corner. I don't like him as much as I liked Yates, so I'm going to pass on that. DT, what about Morris? Is he another power guy? A power move with even better grades, but I suppose Conrad looks better. He just simply looks better, unfortunately, for, that. And Barnett, I'm not going to go for. I'm going to go for the tackle, Paul Kendrick, who also actually looks pretty damn good. So we're going to take the risk. Please, no normal. Please. Yes, hidden development trait. That center we took that's going to be playing, was going to be playing guard, may just be a wasted pick. I'm just going to be honest with you. It might just be a busted pick. And, of course, we are taking that chance on Conrad over Morris, who is less athletic, technically, but he's got the 2 to 3 grade. I'm going to trust that. A power move. That's all I care about. Normal development trait, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, I just care about the A anyways, so I guess as long as the other guy isn't hidden, which even then, like I said, if it's not higher than star, might not even be a bonus anyways. We'll try to pay attention. We'll try to see what that guy looks like. But, yeah, I mean, that A is really what we're looking for, like I said. We're going to trade in this pick to the Cowboys for 32 next round and a 5th next year. The game was projecting that 5th next year to be literally pick 21, which is just, I mean, super unfair. But we ended up, just adding some random player to make it fair. Regardless, so let's take a look at the players we have. We need a fullback, and this fullback looks by far the best one, and he's 21 years old. Normal development trait, 81 strength. Again, 21. It's really the thing that caught my eye with a fullback, and then we're probably going to go with yet another kicker here in the 7th, as our last kicker was not great. We'll probably give him another year if he's not, if this Calhoun guy is not better, but still going to go with Joey Calhoun, who has hidden development trait, actually. 93 kick power. I mean, he kind of has to start now. It has been how many rebuilds, and we haven't had a hidden special teamer in how long outside of, a real class? They exist. What do you know? They exist. All right, we'll take it, of course. The strong safety, he was hidden, but yeah, he's 70 overall. Is not looking great, but once again, going to sit for a year. Ben Cousins. I'm sorry, Anthony Johnson, but Ben Cousins is the number 2. I'm sorry. He's insanely talented. We'll take a look at the development trait just for the hell of it anyways. Once again, he's going to be the number 2. Johnson is the number 3. Kind of rotational guy. He's on the older side, but good depth. Once again, let's put number 45 on him, and he is a superstar. Absolutely starting now. Well, I mean, I know. It got me. Paul Kendrick should be normal development trait. Normal star development trait, but let's play him at guard. I was just thinking about that center because I want to go take a look at the other 2 guys we could have had, but we waited on. I mean, it was the right call, obviously. Conrad. Oof. Oh, please tell me Morris isn't good. He's 21. I didn't actually take a look at Morris. If he was 22, then I automatically don't regret this choice, but man, that is going to be a tough one to bet on. That is going to be a tough one to try and... This guy's got a long road ahead of him, but it is what it is. He's got the dark visor on, too, so his chances are already amazing. Joaquin Arlanes, I don't know, but really good lead block, decent run block, really good fullback, actually. Just a little slower, but still a good player. And then Calhoun with the 72 accuracy, 93 kick power, even though the morale's dropping him. I don't know why the morale's down so much. I know we're an 8-9 team, but we did make the playoffs. And he is star development trait. He looks so tiny, though. Let's see the lineman, and then let's see Calhoun. Oh, the corner as well. 70! No. No, dude. This guy's a freaking glitch, dude. He's actually a glitch. Let's change his number just so he has... I guess 28. Soup. Wow, dude. That guy's freaking goated. That is kind of mean that he's that good. Oh, well. Redmond, 71 overall. Yeah, of course, hidden development trait. Decently athletic. Of course, he went to a team that has a left tackle already. And then, of course, Casey Johnson, also hidden development trait. Love it, dude. Love it. Let's take a look at Morris, who... actually, let's take a look at Haggins as well. 71 overall with normal development trait. 88 power move, though, which is freakly... I mean, our guy was good, but he ain't that good. What round would he have went? Morris. Here's Morris, 69 overall, normal development trait. And, yeah, I mean, we made the right call. It's just neither of them were really that good. But obviously, that guy, not even close to as good as our guy. Actually, what am I even thinking? We got Stephon Tuitt. We don't even need a defensive lineman. Now I'm really glad that, we didn't go that high with that guy because we actually don't need it at all. I completely forgot about Tuitt. Of course, that guy could be decent down the line. He'll be like 23 when we actually need him. So, that's actually not terrible. We needed the depth. So, yeah, not bad, I guess, as far as, Cousins goes. Like I said, I mean, he's just too good. I'm sorry, Johnson. I'm sorry, man. But, you can still maybe ride the coattails for a Super Bowl, right? I mean, he's still good. And he's a little slow, but he's very smart. He can teach some players some things. We're number 25. I think fans already hate him, but... All right, we got some starters. We made some upgrades, and no, Walker, you cannot start at center. Year 3 of the team. I mean, definitely looking a lot more complete. Obviously, I worry a little bit about Lockett, who's regressing year by year. What is his? Did he actually regress hard with speed this time? I mean, look at the difference. He's 30 now, and he keeps the speed. I don't know what kind of RNG that is, but Kenneth Walker, obviously the true starter now, who definitely deserved to start after last season. Offensive line-wise, Kendrick maybe should start. How good is Gabe Jackson still, actually? Decent. What about Kendrick, though? Paul Kendrick. He's definitely more raw. So we'll let Gabe start, and then Kendrick will start next season. Defensively, though, literally, at least for this and next season, we're set. I mean, even if Diggs needs to go, we have Callaway. We have Blair as the backup, even. I mean, this is a defense that needs to get better with Devin. They are a team that can. They just need another season or two, but the defense looks good again. I thought this was going to be like a dev up, It's not. It's just XP. It's really disappointing. All right, here it is. You got to pay Brooks. You got to pay Lewis. Everyone else is probably expendable. Let's see how much money we actually have to do that with. Not a crazy amount, but still, of course, he's actually kind of asking for what I was looking to, kind of pay. He's pretty close up there, but a 5-year 75 is, I think, fair, even though he's really shooting up there in overall. Of course, Damian Lewis, 79 overall. He's a good power blocker, but his pass blocking does suck in general. But I still think he's worth a 4-year, probably about 28. He's not that great, but he's good enough to get that kind of contract. As far as Lucas goes, I think he should still be here another year, so we'll force that real quick. We made the playoffs, 11-6. Not a bad year. Of course, let's take a look at the numbers real quick. The team schedule is as follows. Really good, I wouldn't say really good finish, as we did lose 2 of the last 3, especially to a team like the Giants. But, hey, we ended up making the playoffs, 11-6, a lot cleaner this time, and it may feel like it's potentially a year early, but with a team like Washington, not saying that it's an easy one, but I don't think they have Terry McLaurin even. You do get a kind of, in theory, free shot to the divisional. Obviously, you can see the rest of the teams here. Maybe if San Fran beats Dallas or something, I don't know, but there is a chance we win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying, or at least get there. Of course, CJ Stroud, pretty good number. I mean, really good numbers, actually. Running, Kenneth Walker, really good stuff there. Receiving, Noah Fant finally pushes over the edge. Bo Melton, decent. All the wide receivers, kind of, similar. Blocking, 9 sacks for the right tackle, 7 for the left. Really good allowed sacks, actually, for Madden, especially. Mafe, another 10-plus sack season. Parisi with 10.5. 9 for Nwosu. That's a good season. Obviously, I would have liked to see a little bit more out of Tuitt, but that's fine. Tariq Woolen with 4 picks is the number 3 spot guy. Brooks with 5 interceptions. Really, showing that value up, obviously. Just worth it. And Reichert was not really supposed to be the starter, and, he's just going to be out of the league after this season. He's really just not good. Looking at award wins, Stroud was number 4. Not quite MVP, but a really good season nonetheless. Rookie awards, nothing. Best quarterback goes to Stroud, though. DK Metcalf, best wide receiver, and, of course, that is going to be it. All right, going against a team that's 5 overalls less than us. Let's see how it goes. We are up by 3, up by 6. Defense holding pretty well, only allowing 3 points. Obviously, it is a Washington team, probably led by not a great quarterback, and of course, it seems like they lost Terry McLaurin, but our offense really not doing well here. It's 13 all against a team that, like I said, probably isn't super capable on offense. And what's the situation? We have the ball, so we are going to win. It's not going to be a clean win. It's not going to be a great win, but it's going to be enough to get the victory. So obviously, Sam Howell's the starter here. The interception totals are pretty high. Our passing was pretty bad. Our running was really bad. Our receiving was really bad. Defense and Nwosu with 2.5 sacks. Just was not a great game at all. We got the youngsters coming in with some picks, but, the kicker, I suppose, did come up clutch. He's pretty good in the postseason, but regular season is pretty trash. But either way, we were just lucky that they were worse than our bad performance, I guess. All right, going up against Tampa, a team that is absolutely a higher overall than us. I'm not sure who their quarterback is, though. Maybe they try to get Tom Brady back, and they did. I'm not sure, but yeah, this could be a battle of just our quarterback being better, even though he really didn't play that way, I'll be honest with you. But let's go to the end of the game. Let's see what we're cooking with. As obviously last game, you can't really get much worse than last game, but I suppose defense is trying to make that untrue because they already have the exact same points as last week, and they've passed that now. Drove all the way down, but no points. 16-9, 16-16, answering the call a little bit here now. Driving out. This is a very bad game from both teams here, but unfortunately, we are going to do what we do, which is just choke away the game right at the end. Although, unless it was a block kick, hopefully it was a block, because if not, it's... the hell am I looking at? It's just straight up their win. I think he probably lost, right? 3 field goals made, or not lost, but missed it. It can happen. It can definitely happen. 3 for 5. Ask the Vikings, I suppose. It's literally, the team that, we're the team that they actually had that happen against. But, 3 for 5, 1 for 2. It just seems we also missed an extra point. As unrealistic as it seems, whether it's going to matter or not, I'm willing to allow it. Oh, I thought it was a pick. It was a penalty. Defense, please. Defense does it. What's happening? Did they force a turnover? I think we're going to win. I don't care what anyone says. We're headed to the championship, baby. Let's go. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Not bad. Rushing was better, for sure. Definitely better. We also fumbled, though. Oh, no, we didn't fumble. They fumbled. Maybe that's what... I don't know, but... Be mad at me all you want. I obviously didn't, cheat user-wise. Just, the game said what they said. Even though, once again, we are usually, if on that other side, fixing it for ourselves. But I haven't, I have seen us miss kicks before. And even though it's really unrealistic because it's close like that, I have allowed it. So, for once, we get to allow some probable EAPS to help us. Walker, I suppose. This team does like their kind of... power backs a bit as well, so we're going to try to, make him a dual style guy, which I think he's doing a really good job of so far. I don't know if this would be a team that'd be a candidate for, it's not the worst candidate for, trying to win, the Niners. It is the Niners, for trying to go with the dynasty, but I suppose it's the team that, if they can win now, it's kind of useless for us to do another season or two, because this is kind of the early portion. I really don't feel like I never changed Stroud's number. Oh my god, dude. That is gross. Number 20. If we win this game, I obviously have to, because if we see the Super Bowl, I do not want to see number 20 hoisting the Lombardi when he's a damn quarterback. But looks like we might not have to worry about that, as we are down 13-3. Driving down, but never scoring. Touchdown there, which is nice. We stopped him to a field goal. It's still obtainable. And with that touchdown, it is no longer obtainable. Another fail. I don't know what this offense is doing, but... yes, the defense was bad. The offense was much worse. 30 points is tough to beat, but we look like we had that and just sold. 2 interceptions thrown. We had no fumbles. They fumbled. Maybe we had some missed kicks, perhaps, but even then, you can't be kicking that many field goals anyways. We only missed 1. We literally seen drives go all the way to like the 10 or 15 yard line, unless it's just a glitch or something, and we get nothing out of it. But, of course, I suppose that's all irrelevant right now, as we are headed for a 4th season. The Super Bowl between the Dolphins and the Niners. That's a Super Bowl. Of course, we once again lose to the Super Bowl champions, technically, so that's great. But let's take a look at the DevUps, which we should see the quarterback, Stroud, and Walker, actually, which is pretty nice. Stroud, I don't really know. You gotta change that number, though. That's pretty bad. I guess Gunslinger? Not Gunslinger. I don't know. Sideline Deadeye, but the fast one? He doesn't have 90 Improviser. Are you joking me? Well, that's kind of rude, but either way, I don't really need it. So we have about 24 mil, and honestly, I like where the team is, and realistically, the only thing we could replace is wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb is just a guy that, if you look at 25 years old, 96 overall, in the open market, he's easily getting 30 per. Like, he's just simply easily getting that. And even 20 per, we could barely afford it. And the reason why I wouldn't want to do that is we have to, sign or re-sign Mafe next season. And that's a costly contract, obviously. I would love to get a new wide receiver if there is a cheaper option. A.J. Brown obviously got paid long-term in real life, so that's just not realistic. Gallup, I think, was even long-term. I think we're just stuck with what we got, and I think we're just going to draft wide up. So we're at pick 29. We're going to give up 93 this and a 3rd round next year, which I projected to be like pick 90, which I think is pretty fair, to be fair. And it still says we're giving them like 30 value. So as long as, even if we make the championship round, I think this is a fair trade for them. And we're ironically enough going to be taking a wide receiver with this pick. It's pretty stupid, though, that they would actually trade. But, hey, Green Bay doesn't like taking first-round wide receivers anyways. Drummond is going to be my guy. He has a B release, C catching traffic, but his medium route running is decent. And, of course, he is a physical freak. Talking about, I wouldn't say DK Metcalf because of the weight, but the height, just a pure speed demon. Could be the replacement for Lockett next season. And he's hidden development trait. Of course, jumping kind of sucks, but everything else athletically is pretty good. I will say that speed's looking a little iffy. Not really sure why EA keeps underrating these guys, but sure, I guess. Not really much I can do. We took them. Do I really want to take the risk again on an A-power move? Good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. But do we have anyone else? We have Gabe McKee, another guy that was kind of he was going to be my backup plan at wide receiver. Doesn't look as good technically, but he is still okay. I still don't think he's really needed, though, so I'm going to pass on that. Could go with the tackle Tim Burks, though. Trying to think if we actually need a lineman or not. He's a little iffy looking. You know, I can't really tell if I trust him either, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need a new lineman, so I guess we'll just trade down as it's wide receiver we need the most. DT couldn't hurt, but I don't know if I really like that A-power move guy anyways. I'd rather just use the A-power move guy we already took and just start him somewhere. The Dolphins are still willing to give us a second round next year, despite the fact that we traded to pick 12 in the third, gaining that fourth round pick that you see there, all from the Lions. Going to potentially take someone here from a day 3 type pick, but I don't really know if there's anyone that I fully believe in here. Maybe one of the linemen. I suppose Mitchell. We'll go with Mitchell. Like I said, we kind of need that DT type, and he has the versatility. 271 is, maybe just big enough. Of course, very strong for a right end. We're going to grab him, Elton Mitchell. And he's hidden development trait. A little bit weaker than I would have thought. I thought 30 reps would be like 84 strength, but not. He's, like I said, he's a good versatile guy, and he's hidden development trait. Maybe the first time in a long time that I've drafted someone like that. Usually the bigger right end type players are just normal dev, just backup level talent unless you really put the work in. But he actually was pretty good. Ron Whittington was his name? Yeah, Ron Whittington, F run block. What the hell did I see in this guy? No, no thank you. Dexter Carty, pretty bad, but once again, what did I actually see in this guy either? What the hell do I see in these players? Is that it from us with the draft? I mean, like, these players kind of suck. What about Ezekiel Vickers? Beef, pursuit, decently fast. Yeah, we'll grab Vickers. A finesse as well. Oh, you really wish that excel and speed was a little more balanced, but it is what it is. If that A finesse is somewhat true, then I suppose he's worth the pick. And we're going to use these picks to try and recoup a little bit for next year. I know we ended up getting that second round pick anyways. But really, realistically, the picks didn't line up. We traded up for the wide receiver. We liked the value there, but didn't really get much more outside of that. You could always have worse backups. Logan Spears, not going to be that fast. Okay speed, I suppose, but, we just need a backup tight end, and we got one. Maybe grab a quarterback here in the 7th round, just once again, another backup. And that's basically it. Kevin Bibbs is still here. I don't think he's going to be that good, but 3 to 4 round projected. Why not? 89 throw power. 23. It's just a backup. So yeah, this is definitely going to be our worst draft of this rebuild by a long, it's obvious. I mean, even as far as other rebuilds, one of our worst drafts, considering, we didn't trade a bunch of things to gear up for a run here. We kind of just didn't like the value. Obviously, we ended up with a 73 overall wide receiver hidden development trait. I suppose we'll just see what Devi is later on, because once again, I guess we'll take a look now. Maybe he will be the number 3. I know we've been using Bo Melton, but outside of last year, really wasn't playing that well anyways. Drummond, star development trait, wearing, I suppose number 15 doesn't look terrible for a taller guy. And then Mitchell, an interesting type player. How good does he look? He's a weird player, dude. He's really bad block shedding. I don't even know, unless he's superstar or better, if him being star, hidden, is even worth it, right? I mean, it's cool, I guess, but he's really not that good. Not Mitchell. Damn it. The other guy who is a 71 overall. Maybe plays for Nwosu down the line. I don't know. But 80 finesse. Yeah, he's a good player. And I don't think there was anything else that... Yeah, I mean, there was really nothing else to note. What is if you remove the R? Remove him from the team, though. I still cannot believe how bad this guy is. He's just so awful. Season 4 roster. Obviously, really haven't upgraded much, but the devs went up for Stroud and Walker, which could be massive. Of course, Lockett's kind of on his last legs here. He's 31 years old. Still didn't drop the speed since that first drop that we fixed. That is actually nuts, dude. Of course, he loses some other stats, but, who gives a damn? Of course, if Fant has another really good season, we'll probably jump him to superstar. It's a good team. Some of the overalls are lacking a little bit, but as far as quality starters, they are quality, and we might just need a little bit of RNG to get past this one. And this is the guy we were worried about with the contract situation, of course, needing more than the amount asked for. How much money is that? Yeah, I mean, it's probably should be a $25 million deal kind of situation. So, how many you want? 5 years? A 5-year, 125 for the man himself. Probably pretty happy at this point that he was a second rounder, not a first rounder. Kenny Walker, of course, Kenneth playing pretty damn well. Probably, it's a running back. It's dime a dozen, but I think a 5-year 45, let's just make it a clean 5-year 45, is pretty fair, I think. Once again, it's a running back. It's not terrible. Tariq Woolen, I think that's not bad money for him, and I don't think it's bad money for the team in general. Of course, he's man coverage instead of zone, but it is what it is. And honestly, maybe even Bo Melton's gone as he's replaceable. How good did he actually get him? He's catching doesn't look great. Route running's pretty average. He's a short route guy, which we like, but at 26 years old, I don't think he's that good. I mean, think about how long he started over Eskridge, and yet they're very similar still. How many years it's been. But I think we can keep the majority of those guys around, and Tuitt maybe gets replaced, but maybe we'll get someone just as good, not for the same price, but maybe a little more costly. Of course, we're having a good year, but not a great one. Well, it's a great one, but considering about to lose anyways. Oh, or we win. All right, a pretty good year that could be capped off with a great year, and it is, as we make the playoffs and take the division. Of course, I was rocking the Atlanta playbook for a while, but decided to move on to the Tampa one, which once again, I think we all agree is really good, but it's fair. We haven't won every single Super Bowl ever with it, although you can see here, Stroud absolutely just went off. I mean, the man went off. You could see that he was number one in yards, and I would imagine number one in touchdowns, you can't really beat that. The guy just had possibly the best season ever. Not even possibly. I would say it did have the best season ever. Of course, Kenneth Walker, another really good year. Metcalf with this scheme crushed it, though. 1,700 yards, 23 touchdowns. I mean, if this ain't the year, I don't know which one is. I mean, this is amazing. Of course, amazing Breesy out of nowhere with 19 sacks. The same exact scheme. And Wosu, 12. Mafe gets the contract, and he sucks, but I imagine he helped those other guys get to where they are. Calhoun, a better season than we've had at kicker for a while. Not that it's great, but it's still a lot better. And like I said, let's take a look at that MVP, which, never mind. It's Alvin Kamara. Sweet, dude. Wow, really? Of course, Breesy, number 4, with all those sacks as well, is a little surprising. Number 1 quarterback, at least. Number 3 running back. Number 1 wide receiver. Number 10 for Lockett. O-line, number 8 and 10. Not bad for the youngsters. D-line, of course, number 3. Linebacker, number 2. DB, number 6 and 9. And then kicker, not on the list. No matter what, we're still not going to get a damn kicker on the list, that's for sure. But here we are in the divisional round. Let's take a look. Maybe this is the year. This is kind of our sweet spot for rebuilds, and not a bad start going up against the Lions, who I will say are a very good overall. Is this a common thing? Are our sliders just too high? Let's take a look. What the hell, dude? 88, 89. They are a bit high. As you can see, a lot of the teams are kind of on the higher overall side. But, I mean, you can see 81 overall for the Texans, 84 for the Titans, 84, 82, 87 for the Bengals, who just won the Super Bowl in real life, 86 for the Bills, 84, 89 for the best team in Madden by a long shot. I mean, just like, obviously, Buccaneers even. I mean, yeah, sure, the sliders are maybe a little high. But you could see that 90 overall isn't the norm, especially from where the... Whoa! Look at that hair! Sheesh, you see that? Glowing white. That's, oh my, it's radioactive semen. But of course, the Detroit Lions also had a win to get to this divisional game, or wild card, yeah, divisional game against us. They beat a team in the wild card. Of course, we're only 1 overall higher than them. This could be a disaster. All right, going to the end of the game. Detroit does not do anything with the ball. We turn it around and score right away. The second drive, though, a lot better for them, as we are now the ones struggling. Up by 3, though. Now tied up at 10 all. Up by 3 at half. Up by 10. Huge run by the Detroit Lions. Only up by 6 with a whole quarter left to go. The touchdown with the 2-point might be too much, and it will be 38 to a last-second touchdown. 24 Detroit Lions. Whew. That was looking a little worrisome early on. Of course, Jared Goff came in for a touchdown. What the hell is even going on? Pulling out the trickery. Swift was pretty bad. Alexander Madison with a huge rushing touchdown. He seems like he's always good for one of those. DK Metcalf, 10 for 155 with 2 touchdowns. That man carried. Breesy with 2.5 sacks. Not bad. Interceptions kind of iffy. The kicker, that's what I'm talking about, looking good. The championship round. Who are we facing off against? The Dallas Cowboys, who are only a 9-8 team. But I really don't care about their record. I still worry about this game. Overall, up 3, but it's the Cowboys, dude. They're so juiced in the game. All right, Dallas looking like they're, touchdown drive right out the gate. Down by 4. Second turn, I don't know if it's their second drive, but second touchdown for Dallas regardless. 14-3. Not looking promising. Nice little field goal before half. Closing the gap there with the 14-point tie. Up by 7. And Dallas absolutely chokes. 35-21. They had us wrapped up almost in the first half. We were relentless. Stroud coming out strong with a really good performance. A lot of yards. Walker better this week, of course. Lockett finally showed up to help Metcalf, who also played well once again. Sack totals, just a bunch of teamwork this time. Kicking, missed a field goal, but that's okay, as he did hit a 56-yard long, so you got to imagine he still played pretty well. And with that victory, Seattle's headed back to a Super Bowl. I didn't see the other team, but could you imagine if it's the Broncos? I highly doubt it. They got picked 2 overall that one season, and they didn't have their own first-round pick, so I imagine that's a huge setback. When you suck that much and you don't have the first-round pick to account for it, it's pretty bad, right? It's pretty iffy. But let's take a look at who the Steelers had to face to get here. Wow. A 1-point game against Buffalo. Josh Allen versus Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett just kind of got carried, if we're going to be honest. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anymore. But let's take a look if we got any dev-ups. I would imagine maybe Walker. Probably should be Walker. Didn't go up in dev, really. Still a really good player, obviously, though. And Nwosu finally joins the Superstar Dev Club. No one else goes up, though, unfortunately. Let's go with the speed from while we're here, I guess. Number 10 is just... I don't know if that's what he's wearing in real life, but that just is not... It's just not okay. But here it is, potentially the last season. Even if we do another season, I don't know if we have a chance better than this. They got Simmons, and he's always good. As we are obviously likely going to lose Tuitt, but Tuitt has a chance to get revenge. Here it is. Come on, Seattle. 0-0. Nice. Defense set that one up. Touchdown on the offense to knock it down. No one really doing a whole lot here afterwards, though, and no points after the field goal or the touchdown by them. Huge touchdown by us in the second half. Turnover. Steelers can't score on it, though. Up by 3. And it might not have been a pretty one, but we hold on for the Super Bowl victory. Stroud is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. The Seahawks turned that rebuild around very quickly. Actually, if you turn a rebuild around, I guess that makes sense. Jamal Adams, Super Bowl champion. Kenneth Walker, who I've really struggled not to say Kenneth Murray all rebuild long, is a Super Bowl champion. Of course, we had a lot of talent. Mafe, kind of had a down year. Even in the postseason, you could see the numbers weren't crazy for him, but everyone kind of picked up where his slack was. Metcalf, super deserving of a Super Bowl, obviously, just was so good. And Stroud is a Super Bowl winning quarterback with his Seattle Seahawks. And the team obviously looks in a pretty good place to make me win a few more down the line. Pete Carroll, once again, doing it again. Thankfully, his hair turned down a couple of shades as we will take a look at the Super Bowl actual box score. Kind of a, tame Super Bowl, both quarterbacks, not trying to do too much to lose their team the game, and that's kind of the stats you're going to get out of it. Both running backs gave it their all. Najee was probably a little bit better. Better yards per carry, and he didn't have a huge run to set it off, so fair enough. Chris Carson got involved as well. Metcalf and Lockett with a lot of touch, a lot of catches, but not a whole lot of yards in this one. As far as Drummond got involved, the rookie. As far as defense, Breesy with 3 sacks, 2 against his former team with 1.5, and Nwosu with 1. Mafe at least got in there with a half, and then kicking. Wow, these kickers should have just stayed home. 2 for us, 1 for them. That's a bit of a yikes. Those poor Pittsburgh Steelers. You got to rebuild recently enough, and you did pretty well, so what are you worried about? Of course, let's take a look at the actual players that we want to look at. Walker and potentially Metcalf and whatnot. Metcalf, who at this point in the game is basically just automatically the best wide receiver in the game. Like, he just always becomes the best. Kenneth Walker, or Kenny Walker as it's listed here, 94 speed, 92 excel. Went a little bit more towards the juke ability, but still has that ability with trucking. Once again, he seems like a faster Zeke. Stroud, the man, who's really good overall already. I mean, almost perfect. Break, sack, and play action could use a little bit of work. Short accuracy as well, but throw power is insane. Lockett, there's really no point in looking at. But I suppose Drummond, he had an okay shoot-up, year one here, as he's literally already looking better than any of the number 3s that we had throughout this thing. Noah Fant, a guy that's obviously a lot bigger of a part of this trade with Russell, involving Russell Wilson. People would like to say is, you put an okay quarterback in there, he's got the weapons to succeed. Of course, Charles Cross looks amazing. Damian Lewis, I guess we'll take a look at. He's 28. He became a power blocker, but he's still so bad at finesse and pass blocking in general. Ryan Walk never really developed for us, but he's an okay center, even though he's a finesse type. He's so tiny, dude. Absolutely going to get blown by any huge... Oh, man, blown by any huge player. Not blown by any... Yeah. Of course, power blocker for Paul Kendrick, who actually developed all right early. He sit as a backup his first year, and then... just a pure pass blocker with Paris Johnson, the run block. I would say run left if I had any suggestion for this team. And then defensively, Cousins, who's a superstar development trait, middle linebacker, absolutely freakly already, and he's still so young, has so much time to develop. Same with Jordan Brooks, who definitely could use a little bit more in the block shed, but obviously a great player. Just never got to superstar. Mafe, who had a down year, but still a really good player, obviously. Super athletic, great finesse. Would love to see that block shed up a little bit, but still a really good player in general. And Nwosu, who is a little bit of a surprise in this one. Once again, I feel like I've used Nwosu before, and he's been a decent player, but yeah, I mean, still it's nice to have a complimentary piece as Callaway. 85 zone coverage developed really nicely behind Diggs. Feel a little bit bad about Quandre, leaving right as we win it, but it is what it is. Ricks becomes a higher overall or same overall as Sidney Jones. Not great in the zone coverage, but a great press man corner. Sidney Jones, 29 years old. A little bit of a surprise from him as well, from going from normal to superstar. And then, I don't really care about the other alignment, but Barisi, who's just a freak. 99 power move, 82 finesse with 83 block shedding. Just a monster at getting at the quarterback. And that is pretty much going to be it for our Seattle Seahawks realistic style rebuild. Like I said, one of the tougher ones that you would have to do, but it definitely helps when you have pick 2 and 4. Like I said, maybe looking back, I probably should have traded the Denver Broncos pick off for, like 20-something, because it's pretty guaranteed that they're going to at least make the playoffs, even with that tough division. I mean, it could happen that they go like 7-10 or something, but pick 2 overall is a bit far-fetched. Regardless, though, hopefully you guys still enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe leave a like, maybe subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr, second channel, PK Plays, and I was going to say twitch.tv/Jeromepkr for streams, which we should have had one yesterday, but I don't know when I'm going to be able to stream. Might have to get a completely new graphics card. I'm not even 100% sure, because the error literally makes no sense, because I'm recording with Elgato. The error shouldn't exist. It just simply shouldn't, and it's kind of annoying, because I had it working at once, and it's not working again. I'm not really sure what I need to do, other than maybe upgrade my graphics card, which... got those prices right now for them with all the crypto miners. Whoa, I'd be stoked to do it. Oh, man. But regardless, even if we can't stream often or even, for some time again, yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the videos at least. I do enjoy making them. I'll debate based on, if I can't stream... if I can't stream tonight... I'm probably just going to record the off-season and post it on Monday. But if I can stream, then I'll probably post it on Tuesday for Nighthawks, of course. Anyways, if you guys have a team you want to see next for a rebuild, there's still a couple of teams you can do. Let me know in the comment section below. Of course, I still want to do a Titans one, still want to do a Giants one, but they have been posted on YouTube already, and I want other people to, get their videos and whatnot, their time. Don't want to seem like it's like, oh, well, right after theirs, I'm going to sneak mine in. Regardless, though, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya!